Okay, so hello everyone. So I'm here today with Matthew Dorrington from Blue Moxie, and we're going to be talking about SEO and pay-per-click, and he's an oracle in these areas. So Matthew, do you want to just introduce yourself first, just like, you know, what your company does, where you are?
Yes, certainly. So as said by yourself, my company is called Blue Moxie. We are an SEO focused agency, but we also serve PPC and social media services, as well as web development services and a few other areas we dabble in. But ultimately, SEO is our bread and butter and what we focus on. And we're based down in Maidstone, nice and central, so that we can reach out to any business across Kent and into Surrey and Sussex as well.
Brilliant. Okay. So do you want to just tell us exactly what SEO is about? And also maybe into pay-per-click as well?
Sure. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. Ultimately, getting you as high on Google as possible, but it's not always about as high on Google. It's more about the revenue that comes from the clicks on Google. Something that many people confuse SEO with is being first on the rankings, but it's not about being first on the rankings. It's about money coming in from people that land on your website through different search terms. So, for example, let's say you were a builder in Maidstone. Most people would say, oh, I want to rank #1 as builder in Maidstone. But no, what we want to be doing is helping you grow your revenue from very specific phrases such as kitchen extension Maidstone, rather than a overall phase that will not ultimately bring you money.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And is there, do people have to sort of pay for SEO? Can they do it like themselves a little bit, or?
Absolutely. So SEO can be done by yourself on a basic level using tools such as Yoast. We've got loads of free resources on our website, including an audit, which actually gives you things to do on your website. Ultimately, there is more technical stuff that professionals can do, but you can learn these yourself. You can go out there and learn, but it's about saving you time. We're there to be that professional hand, do it for you, save you time so you can focus on the more important things in your business, like completing the sale from the lead that has come from your SEO.
Yeah. And it can be a bit fiddly, is that right? So it can be quite sort of detailed and a bit like you just want to kill yourself after a little while if you kind of don't know what you're doing. Is it kind of a bit like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's broken down into three areas: on page, off page, and technical. So on page, that's what tools like Yoast allow you to do. That's the words on your page, what you can physically see, and that's what most people see SEO as. But there's also off page and technical. Off page is stuff like blogs on other websites that link to your website, business directories, and other like press releases, and even getting articles in newspapers, etc. That organic, people reading and typing your name in, that is search engine optimization, people still trying to find you. And then there's technical, which is as it says, technical. We go in, we look at the speed of your website, the user experience, how people move around on your website, how they convert, making sure the customer journey is right. Because as I said before, it's not just about how high on Google you are, it's how the customer interacts with your website and ultimately the revenue that comes out the back end of that.
Okay. And is it best to sort of have someone like you that kind of, I think from my understanding of it, is that you kind of build and build and build month on month? Is that how it works? You're kind of like, basically, you can't just do a month of SEO and then like think that's okay. It's got to kind of like build up. Is that right? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah. So SEO does take time to get going. Generally about 3 months is going to be like the minimum before you start seeing any real serious income from it. In the early months, I'm not saying you're not going to see income, but it's not going to be at its full level. And so many people generally get turned off very quickly because they haven't seen that instant results like PPC. But with SEO, what you need to remember is once you're already ranking for a phase, and we've ranked it only takes minor touches on that for us to keep it in that position. Then over the next month, we're then adding more phrases. So every month, you're getting more and more sales from these phrases because we are maintaining the current positions as well as working on new positions. But it's less time to maintain a current position. So that's how it builds up. And quite rightly, it works very well with PPC. Many companies combine the two in the early stages, using PPC to keep the sales where they are whilst the SEO builds up. And once the SEO begins to take over above the PPC sales, you can then start bringing that ad spend down and ultimately save you money in the long term.
Okay. And is it best to kind of work with someone like you to kind of do the pay-per-click as well, so that you can figure out that crossover and then when's the good point to
Absolutely, yeah.
and...
It's so much easier when we're doing everything, because we're always looking at the analytics, we're sending monthly reports, we're looking at the numbers daily in-house, so we can adjust things and make sure that you've still got that income. And it's about being back and forwards. What I always say with my clients is I need to know what's happening when people call you, because if they're calling you and they're the wrong type of customer, or you're getting lots of calls and they're the wrong customer, we need to know, because there's going to be something wrong in the keywords or even with the PPC. Whereas a lot of customers quite often would stay quiet if they're not prompted to, and just kind of sit there and go, oh, this isn't working. So we need to be able to realize it's not working very quickly. And that's why I always say, and we always have a WhatsApp group set up with the customers saying, you get a crap phone call, put it in WhatsApp and tell me, I've just had a phone call and it's about this, but he hasn't got no budget. Or I want to know, because if I start seeing patterns, I'm going to then adjust things and make sure we're not including certain keywords that might be triggering that. And so it's all about two-way communication. And then if there's a third company, a second company involved, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get that communication going. And sometimes they're going to be a little bit closed about being open with us, because they might see us as a rival rather than part of the same team. And
on kind of like the costings of things, like how much do you think someone should pay for like SEO or pay-per-click? I mean, what kind of figures are they looking at?
It's a very open subject, that. So there's a lot of boundaries and terms you can be looking at within SEO. If anybody's charging kind of below £500 for a basic SEO package, you're probably only getting on-page stuff. You're probably only getting very basic words on your website and a report each month. And then as it works up, the average packages is going to probably be around about the £1,000 to the £1,500 mark. But all of these are completely bespoke and can be changed depending on the customer. Some customers simply only want a little bit of on-page work, so that can come right down to £300 to £500 mark. But then when a customer wants the more serious stuff that's going to make them money, you're going to be more up in that area. I did write a whole blog on this, and I'll send you the link for that. And it breaks it down across the average across the UK and what you're getting for that money.
Okay, good. Yeah, we'll put some of these links on the sort of below the video. Yeah, that's great. And I just wonder about sort of pay-per-click. Is there anything else you want to sort of say about that? Kind of like,
pay-per-click cost-wise, what we do is 35% of the ad spend. So, for example, if you had £1,000 ad spend, you'll get fees of £350 plus VAT on top. The important thing to remember, which I have seen from past like clients, that there is no VAT on the actual ad spend, because that's all included in the cost. Whereas I have seen that customers have been paying additional VAT on top of that. But so there is no VAT on the ad spend, just on the fees, which is really good. And so yeah, just make sure you're not getting overcharged.
Yeah. And are we looking sort of just, is it kind of just Google we're talking about, or are we talking about like other areas, like other search engines?
Yeah. So PPC isn't just Google. PPC includes all your social media channels. That includes retargeting, Bing, and even LinkedIn or everything like that, because ultimately we don't just set up the campaign on Google, we set up retargeting campaigns at the same time. So, you know, like when you're on Amazon and you're looking at a book, you go back to Facebook and there it is in your feed. You can do all of that on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Google, and it all comes in as a single campaign.
Okay. I think I might sort of talk to you a bit more about that. We're going to do a second talk, but I think we might kind of explore like other social media avenue maybe in that second one. That's a good idea.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, well mate, thanks for spending some time just sort of to explain that. And everyone, please do talk to Matthew, Blue Moxie, if you want to just kind of chat to him about any questions. He won't charge you to have a chat, so just just have a talk with him. And I'll see you for part 2 in a couple of weeks, Matthew.
Perfect. I look forward to talking.
See you then. Bye bye.
Bye bye.